Hello everyone, and welcome to another video here at Bounty Meadows. This is by far my favorite time of the year in the garden and in the orchard. We have fantastic rains this time of year, July, August, September, and it's a very busy time for me. I've been extremely busy and I've had so many people needing things from me and whatever, and I've had to be really selective and just try to stay focused on what I'm doing. There's quite a few community things coming up that I'm looking at getting involved in as well. In terms of these, anyway, I won't get into it, but yeah, if I haven't gotten to you on your questions and things that you're needing from me, my apologies. I am very busy, and I thought I'd do another video as well. Just, since there's been so much interest in the garden and what's happening, I thought I'd do a second one. The first one was to cover the construction of the vegetable garden itself, since there were so many questions around that, and it just made sense to make a video, and that way I could help people with their garden a lot more that way. And I've decided to do another video with the updates in the orchard and the garden, and share with you guys some of the things that are working, some of the things that are not working, and some of my new methods of gardening in the orchard and in my vegetable garden. So behind me here, you might have noticed, is a dragon fruit. This dragon fruit is now, I believe it is 2 years old. And I've taken quite a few prunings off of them, giving to some people and that sort of thing, and which is working out pretty good, because I have a very fragile post and support system, so it can't handle a lot of branches. It's just gonna lean over the side or something. So I'm pruning it and giving it away to people here and there, but they're growing quite well. And I haven't been watering them. There's no real water here on the farm. I lost my water about 20 years ago, when there were big development came around us, and I didn't go to the EIAs, and the hole that I was using for about a decade ended up being taken by the development, and the EIA that was done at the time, because there were so many other boreholes drilled, they're like, you can't drill any more boreholes. So we were left with no reliable clean water source. There's been a couple bits and pieces here and there, but not worthy of going into commercial farming in any way. So this period has taught me some valuable lessons. St. Francis Bay is not an easy place to garden. We've got very strong winds that come quite a few times in the year, from the east and from the west. This is a very unique environment. In the past, when I started gardening, everyone was like, nothing grows in St. Francis. That's what everyone would say. And so it does speak to the challenges of being a farmer in St. Francis Bay. And so over these years, I've learned what grows and what doesn't grow, and how to grow with no water, basically, which is a very good experience to go through, because it's taught me some very valuable things. Now, I've studied permaculture, I've studied organic farming and all these different things, but actually putting it into practice and seeing the results kind of really is where the belief starts to fit in now. And over the years when I was overseas, it was very difficult to manage this orchard and look after it, being so far away. It doesn't matter what you're into or what you're doing. It's very difficult to get somebody else to come and do the same thing that you're doing. You can't expect that from anybody. I wouldn't, So it's been tough, it's been difficult, but it's some valuable lessons and some very good things learned. And I would say there are two things, when it comes to the orchard, there are three very important things that I've learned. Number one, got to have wind protection. It's like going to war, fighting a losing battle if you don't have wind protection. So this is a very important part of being able to grow anything in St. Francis. The second thing, I would say, possibly first or second thing, is selection of what you're growing. Now, some things are going to be very difficult to grow. For instance, persimmon. I've got some persimmons growing here, but they actually, I've got them planted as a family planting. So there's another tree planted next to it that is considered a windbreak tree. It's actually a fruit tree. It's considered a windbreak tree. So the persimmon's planted in the lee of that tree. So when the west comes, the windbreak tree protects the persimmon tree. So that is how I'm now starting to be able to grow persimmons. Some of my windbreaks are growing up now, and I'm getting better protection. Now I'm starting to be able to grow sensitive things like persimmons and cherry moyas and things like that. And some of the other trees that I started. So this orchard is probably about, gosh, maybe 16, 17 years old now. Some of the trees I got before I actually started the orchard. I had a house in Santorini and I was collecting trees because I knew I was coming here. So I was collecting persimmons and guavas and all these different things, and I actually had the trees for a while before I came to plant them here in the orchard. And one of the first things I did was put windbreaks. So at the moment I've got windbreaks that are they're pioneer trees. They're casuarinas, so they're a temporary tree that will be removed once the yellowwoods and the indigenous trees that I've planted become tall enough to do the job. And then I started planting the fruit trees, and yeah, a lot of slow growing with no water. Sometimes we had a little bit of water here and there, but it wasn't consistent, or it was too expensive, or it was this or that. It was so it wasn't not an ideal situation for agriculture. Agriculture, you really need your own borehole and water system, otherwise the costs are too high, and it makes it not a feasible venture. I could be wrong, it is, but as far as I know, that's the way it is. And now coming back, now I've been overseas and back quite a few times, and go overseas and come back and it's like all the grass is growing underneath the trees, and I pull the grass out. That was a bit of a waste of time, and it just messed up the level of the soil, especially when I'd gone, because I left that style of gardening, and then the guys that were helping out would be pulling out the grass and putting it further out, and so I ended up getting like a uneven ground, which is not what I wanted. And so coming back this time from the Caribbean, I'd spent about 5 years in the BVI working and earning some money there. I brought that money back. I've been fixing up the farm, and one of the first things that I did was mulch the trees. So I got a lot of wood chips. There's quite a few people doing wood chips, especially right now. It's a big thing with the fire, so everyone's having their place chipped, and I don't think everyone really realizes the value of these wood chips. So this is another reason why I wanted to make this video, to share some of these things. A lot of us are battling with water. I'm one of them, and one of the ways I've gotten, for instance, this dragon fruit to grow at all is because of wood chips. And the same with the guavas, the same with the sapotes. So since I put the wood chips over these last 2 years, I've noticed a dramatic improvement in the growth of all of the trees in the orchard, especially after about a year from when the wood chips start to decompose, and it actually becomes, I'll go through and show you guys, it becomes black and spongy, and it holds moisture. So when it does rain, it's like the wood chips it's like a sponge up all the moisture and hold it like that. And this is ideal for the trees, especially for something like figs. Figs are very, very sensitive. They really don't like hot, dry conditions because their roots are right on the surface of the soil. And so when the sun comes and just bakes it dry like that, sun in the wind, the figs have got no chance. I mean, the space between the internodes is about that big when the conditions are like that. You know, figs, you should have internode spaces getting up like this when the conditions are right. So a lot of stunted growth in the trees over the last 17 years. You know, my trees, if I'd had water and more mulch and all these different things, the trees would be much bigger. But they are what they are at the moment, and so I'd like to share what I've learned with you guys, so it can help you guys skip 5 or 10 years of battling or more. And yeah, it'd be great to have more farmers, more growers in the area who really need a proper farmers market in St. Francis Bay. I've been overseas, I've been to places where they have this kind of culture, where there's organic farming and there's an abundance of fresh organic produce, that there's no delay between the harvesting and the selling to the public. So people will harvest and bring it straight to farmers market the same day. Some places have 3 farmers markets in a week. We're having 1 market at the moment in a month, and I believe there's 1 store there selling produce, which is not what I'm used to. I'm used to going to a farmer's market when I'm overseas, and it consumes an entire main road of a town, and it's just all organic produce. It's amazing, and the fruit and the vegetables and the sprouts and I mean, you name it, they've got everything. It's an experience. So I'm used to that, and you know, I'm coming back here and I'm wanting to create something similar, at least for myself, on my own farm. But it would be great for me to be able to share what I've learned, so that organic farming and permaculture in the area can potentially grow a bit faster, and we can have these fantastic community amenities like an organic farmers market with really good produce and health-giving food. Nothing wrong with health. Nothing wrong with health. So yeah, this is one of my motivations for making the video. I'd like to share and create abundance when it comes to health, farming, produce, organics, share the knowledge, and I also want to be able to learn myself. So one of the reasons I created this gardening group for St. Francis Bay, it's St. Francis Bay Organic Gardening on Facebook, is so that I can also learn. And I have been learning from some people. You know, Dallas has been showing me how to, you know, do the microbes, making, you know, brewing microbes and things like that, which is very, very valuable to the garden. And I've learned some great things from him and from some other people as well, which is really, that's starting to work for me now. And ideally, you know, to have a situation like that where we're all learning from each other and we're growing together, that is really the ideal situation. So I'm gonna now turn the camera around, start walking around in my orchard and talking about some different things, and then I'll take you to my vegetable garden and show you a few different things there too, what I'm doing, what I'm using, how I'm making things grow. Alright, see you at the guavas. Yeah, so having very good luck with the guavas at the moment. A lot of fruit. Oh, Sonny. A lot of fruit. They've never fruited like this. The fruit is actually quite big. You see there's some here. The fruit is actually quite big. They're the biggest they've been, and they're the sweetest they've been. They used to actually struggle quite a lot with blossoming rot, and I believe it was because of the drying out, and then suddenly now there's water Yeah, they're just delicious, and Sunny likes them too. It's actually a bit of a problem. I've got to, I think, stop him from eating too much of it sometimes. But yeah, he really loves the guavas. This is so fantastic having this. You can just come down here and pick fresh guavas, and for sure, I mean, they are nothing like what you'd find in a store. You know, if I had to go buy guavas at a store and chomp on them, they really don't taste anything like these guys. I mean, these are really, really delicious. And so down here is this mulch that I've been putting down here, and you know, it holds a lot of moisture. It's quite wet, and it's breaking down, slowly breaking down. So this is what is helping the fruit trees do so well. Now this mulch used to be up here, but you know, it breaks down and eventually starts feeding the trees and holding moisture. I'm just throwing some of the dragon fruit cuttings in there. Some of them grow, but apparently they've got to be a year old for them to actually work. But in any case, I'll take you to the next trees. Okay, so I've just put some more wood chips on here. These wood chips are not really chipped up very well, but you know, I'll take what I can get. No complaints. And if I could get more, I'd be piling on a lot more. So I'm still trying to figure out what to actually do here with these supports. Everyone has different supports on their farm. I've seen quite a few different systems. But I may be either just keep them pruned, or I may actually bring in a different support system so they can get a lot bigger. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but so far it's working quite well. Oh, and I had a lot of dragon fruit last year, but the monkeys, oh man, they really challenged me. They were eating a lot of the fruit. So now got this guy, and he's only 5 months old, and he's already keeping the monkeys out. There's been no monkeys yet. The alpha male came, I think it was about, gosh, a month ago, and Sunny chased him away, and he hasn't been back. So far that's working. Here's one of the fig trees, and I've just put some fresh mulch. It had a layer, now it's got another layer. I've got another 12 cubes, and I've been doing the figs and the sapotes. So yeah, looking forward to September when those buds start bursting. I'm really looking forward to that. I did get some fruit last year. There was some fruit hiding underneath the leaves that the monkeys didn't see, but I'm pretty excited for this year to see what I can get with Sunny being here to chase the monkeys away. So I'm pretty stoked about the situation. And I've got different fig trees. They're all the black ones with the red inside, but they're going to ripen different times of the year. They're going to ripen different times of the season, should I say. So over the fig season, they're going to ripen. One ripens this month, one ripens that month. So I picked them like that. So most of them, it's like a black mission fig style figs. We used to get them in California, and they were just unbelievable. And then over here, these two sapotes are doing pretty good. The back here, this one and that one back there is doing pretty good. But yeah, also you can see some of these are pretty small. They just haven't had the water, and they didn't have the mulch when I was gone, so it's tough for them. And this one over here actually has a fruit on it for the first time. Let's see if I can find it. Put a picture on it. It might be here, maybe it's all on the bottom. Oh, there it is. So this This is the first fruit. Oh, there it is. That's the first fruit. It's the first sapote. Very exciting for me. We used to eat these in California. They were huge trees that we found. There were 2 of them, and we used to fill up the boot with these sapotes. They get a lot bigger than that. They get like the size of an apple. So this is a new experience for me. Very excited, and hopefully this mulch is going to help conserve the moisture even more, so this tree has a better chance of going places. The garden's actually a bit of a mess at the moment. I've just been so busy. I haven't really been getting to everything that I've been needing to get to, but it's doing great. This time of year, everything's doing well. Just walk you through. You can see everything's mixed. So I've got some lettuce and aloes and strawberries. I've got the strawberries running along the edge here so that they hang down here in the dry. If the strawberries are sitting on the soil, they get molds and funguses and they end up rotting. So that's why I planted them on the sides. I actually use this aloe quite a lot. I use it on my skin for dry skin, and after I wash, put it on. I'm really enjoying it. There's some kale coming up there, and some dashin. Well, it's in the Caribbean call it dashin. In Tahiti they call it tara, and I think in South Africa they call it ndumbi. The leaves get much bigger than this in the summer. This is now, they really died back, winter growth. And some strawberry, celery, go-to cola, growing very well, go-to cola. I was using some dam water in the summer, and yes, I just think the pH is just way too high, and the whole garden just went yellow, and I had some lovely, this row here was filled with black raspberry, the best berries you can imagine, and they all died when I started watering that water. So, and the very place doesn't have them anymore, so that was a bit of a loss. So you can see mixed are broad beans and dill, lettuce, grass that needs to get picked out. The strawberries are flowering now, which is great. I'm leaving some of the dandelion. Sometimes I put it in a juice or something, and I keep some of the bigger ones just to sort of grow the best ones. Stinging nettle, Swiss chard, and I think this is some kind of a, what was this? Some kind of a root crop. I haven't actually even eaten one of these yet, but there's quite a few of them coming up. And leeks, and this is where there's a lot of asparagus in the garden. So this is an old one, but in the summer they come up and they get huge, and then there's lots of spears that'll come up down there, and they're great for eating. One of my favourites is asparagus. The strawberries, all of the beds now I've got these strawberries. Alright, so this is interesting. So since I started sowing a lot of plants close together, I started getting this either downy mildew, powdery mildew or something. Because I think a lot of the plants are just too close together, so I need to thin them out. I've got some coriander there. Love the coriander. Really enjoy these coloured lettuces. Some broccoli. I like these ones that you can just pick, and then there's more that keeps coming. Some different lettuces. Some rockets going to seed. Now, with things going to seed like this, I usually try and identify which plants are looking good. And for instance, like the lettuce, it's like this one, I've marked it. So I like this lettuce. It's really tasty. It's got nice color. etc, etc. And so I've marked it, and I'm going to let this one go to seed, and I'll show you some other ones as well. Kale, I've got a couple of different kinds of kale. There's another new kale coming up there. I was just throwing seed everywhere and letting it come up by itself. Spinach, Swiss chard, more lettuce, more dinosaur kale. There's a big dinosaur kale over here. The rabbits really like that. Oh, this is my favorite cabbage. Sugarloaf, so tasty, steamed or chopped up fine. And artichoke, lettuce, lots of lettuce. This is my lemongrass. So I had 3 of these, and they grew so well that I gave 2 of them away. They're in other places in the garden, and then I've just chopped it down now. It was huge. It was it was touching the roof of the garden, and then I've chopped off half of it and given it to someone for their garden. It was just too much. It grows really well here. I usually put it in juices. Some celery, chard, lettuce, coriander, garlic chives. Oh yeah, I love that. Italian parsley. So everything's mixed. It's all mixed up. This is water spinach, but it's now winter and it's died right back. So this is a summer green. So probably around September this is going to come to life again, and I'm going to have summer greens. This really grows very well. Highly recommend it. There's very few summer greens that we can get that are nice. This is one of them. Water spinach. Another kale. Philly kale. And over here we've got some Swiss chard, some broad beans, and some of them are starting to make broad beans. Some more broad beans there. Oh, red Russian kale. Love this stuff. Looks so nice in the garden too. I like getting these other colors for the anthocyanins, antioxidants, etc. Celery. Ooh, and this guy's flowering. So some of the first ones to flower, so when I'm picking seed, I'll actually chop down some of the ones that went to flower first, so that the next crop doesn't bolt as soon. Some more broad beans. Another one of my favorite cabbages, sugarloaf or broad beans. And this kale is fantastic. Steamed or chopped up fine, raw, love it, absolutely love it. I don't know how to pronounce it, Chulumla kale or something like that. It grows huge, and it'll grow all summer long as well. This does very well, this one. Got a whole bunch of young ones. Okay, so here's another lettuce that I've marked. Just didn't really have anything else to mark it with, but that worked. So now this one I'm going to leave to bolt and go to seed, and then I'll collect the seed. So some of these other ones are just kind of small and whatever, I'm not going to bother with them. That one I should actually mark. You can tell when the leaves are full and juicy. I want to keep those ones, and they're big as well, and they take longer to bolt. See, the strawberries are everywhere. They're just everywhere, all along here. I'm going to have a lot of strawberries this season. Got some thyme there. So here's an artichoke that didn't do so well. It got a lot of aphids, and then what do we see here? Where is that guy? Oh, he's disappeared. There he is. There's a ladybird that is hiding now. There was a ladybird there, so I've been eating all the there. No, it's still hiding. There it is. That guy's been eating all the aphids. This is really great. And I've got a lot of praying mantis in the garden too. Now all the aphids are gone. So those ladybirds have been doing a great job. And hopefully this guy comes back to life. dill, love this stuff, and juices and so on. Yeah, favorite cabbage, sugarloaf. I'm going to mark this guy. Yeah, so here's another one that I marked. So I'm going to let this lettuce go to seed. It's a nice big lettuce, healthy. So it's chard. And over here we got some broccoli, red Russian kale, broad beans. See, yes, I've got quite a few of these. So this is where asparagus is going to come up in the summer. Another one here. Asparagus will come up there. Interesting. It seems I got some broccoli this year, broccoli seeds, that don't regrow. It's the first time I've had that. Usually every time I chop a head, it then regrows and there's more to harvest. This must be a different kind of broccoli that's like a one head wonder or something, and then it's done. So those are my favorite. So here's the one that I do like. See, it starts giving more again. It regrows. I've just picked this one, but you can see the difference. So this is not the same broccoli, I don't think. Here's another lettuce that I'm going to let go to seed. Another one there. And what else have we got? Need to pull these tomatoes out, it's going to get too hectic. So usually I let some tomatoes grow, but not all of them. Look at all these strawberries down here. They're lining all the beds. So when they vegged out in the summer, last summer, they made strawberry plants everywhere. I had to dig them out. They covered. All of these beds are covered in strawberries. And I'm growing a guavadilla, permaculture Mikey from JBay gave me. It's doing pretty good. Even in the winter, it's growing quite nicely. Probably my trellis is too small for this guy, but I'll just have to keep him pruned, see how it goes. Get some fruit from it, and then perhaps plant some in the orchard. See what happens. Yeah, love this stuff. Italian parsley. Absolutely love it. I really enjoy having some purple for the anthocyanins, the health aspects, antioxidants, phytochemicals. It's good to have a bit of colour. Alright. Very nice blackberry. It's a thornless blackberry. So I haven't had too much experience growing blackberries, but so far I'm doing alright. I want to really propagate this guy because those berries are just delicious. And who can guess what that is? That is moringa. Grew right to the roof and then hacked it, and now it's growing back here, and then I'll hack it again and I'll keep hacking it further down until it bushes from the bottom. I really enjoy the moringa in the juices. I think this is a collard green. So I've got quite a few different kinds of leafy green vegetables. Another collard green there. Oh, just delicious. This time of year, wow. Absolutely love it. Somebody tell me what that is. I've forgotten what it is. Chilumilo kale, so that guy's going to get huge. Timed just perfectly for the summer, so he'll grow all summer long. Let me chop out some of these lettuces. So my peppers didn't do well. I had a lot of fruit fly that nailed the peppers. I'm not quite sure what to do there. I'll probably have to bait or something, or change my composting, or I don't know. Love this stuff. Flat leaf Italian parsley. I used to sell a lot of this when I had a market garden about 20 years ago. Sold a lot of that, sold a lot of kale, sold a lot of lettuce. That's another German kale. There's two come up next to each other. I need to chop one of them down. Spinach. The rabbit's been having a bit of fun. Take those guys out, pot them, plant them on the boundaries or in the orchard. Gooseberries grow so easily. Gooseberry is one of the best, one of the strongest plants around for sure. The cherry tomatoes grow the best. Out of all the tomatoes, I've had the most luck out of them. My brother grows the big tomatoes in tunnels, and he does very well. But I haven't had success with big tomatoes. Another red Russian kale. Again, look at these strawberries. I'm going to be loaded up with strawberries. They're everywhere, all along the beds, on the sides of the beds. I don't know what I'm going to do when I start sending runners this year. Yes. This chard looking good. What is this? I think it's a collard green. Yeah. So delicious. I've been eating so much off of that guy. What is that? I don't know. I think it was some aphids. Yeah. And he's going to work. A ladybird doing its business, shying all the aphids. There's a lot of ladybirds, a lot of and aphids around this time of year. More lettuce. Some more lettuce that have been marked. This one here, that one there, and that one there. Let those guys go to seed. They seem to be cross-pollinating a lot, because I've noticed there's been big changes from where the lettuce were, or what they looked like, till now. Big changes. So definitely picking them is the thing. Yeah, so this is a fantastic time of year. Everything's green, everything's growing well. I don't have to water. The soil's nice and moist. It's just fantastic. And I planted, so I've got a plum over there, and then there another plum, and there another plum, and there another plum, and there another plum, another plum, and another plum there. So I've had those two big ones for a while, and then I went and got some different varieties and I planted them in between. So I should have better pollination and all that. And some seabird guana, volcanic rock dust, and soft rock phosphate. So I've chosen these soil amendments because they are organic and they contain a lot of minerals. So the seabird guana, I picked it because it comes from the sea, and what I've learned with my health education is that most of the minerals that we get are coming from the seaweeds, and a lot of the fish eat the seaweeds, and then the bigger fish eat the smaller fish. So my thoughts were that the seabird guana is going to be quite high in minerals. Of course, it's quite high in nitrogen too. I think most people know that. And then the volcanic rock dust, I bought about a ton of this, and I'm down to about probably, I don't know, 10 or 20% of it's left. And this is the highest organic soil amendment in as far as minerals are concerned. Next one up from that is seaweeds. And then, so this is a volcanic rock that's been crushed. And the farming and gardening around the world where there's volcanoes is known for having the best, tastiest vegetables and fruit and so on. And I believe a lot to do with the volcanic rock dust or the minerals in the soil. Soft rock phosphate, what I know of it, it's mined, it's not sustainable, so not ideal, but it is a seabed mineral. So again, going to be high in minerals because it's from the sea, originally from a long time ago. And yeah, I've got, so this is a mix of different crushed rock from the quarries. This is very cheap, easy to come by in our area. There's a lot of it. Apparently I've got about 19 trace minerals. So I've got some from the Jeffreys Bay quarry, and I've got some from the Humansdorp quarry. Running a little low, I need to get some more. But this is very easy to get a hold of. It's good to add some minerals in the soil. Minerals are one of the biggest problems in farming and produce when it comes to quality produce is severe lack of minerals. And this is a problem worldwide because of monoculture farming. People are just putting on NPK and skipping all the trace minerals, and we feel it down the line with our health. You get a lot of health experts saying that where there's disease, there's mineral deficiency. So, got to add the minerals. More kale, more cabbage, more Swiss chard. Yeah, I've got too much. Yeah, it's pretty easy. I usually sow a lot, and then once they start coming up, like you see here, there's a whole bunch of them there, and then I'll thin them out, and I end up just having way more than what I need. So my compost pile. This is not a hot composting system that I've got back here. So I've just been taking the garden waste, throwing it in there, and now I'm just got a hole here, and I'll go in there and dig out the best compost I've ever used in my life. The plants really respond to what's coming out of this thing way more than anything else that I bought. So it's working, but I'm going to make some changes to it. It's not big enough, and I'm also wanting to do a hot composting system. Need to get into that. So yeah, for the meantime, this is working. So with my rain tank system, I've got a bunch of tanks back here. Anybody want an old car? And they are now they're all connected. So all of the tanks are full to about there. Those two are all the way full. So this is a good time of year. All the tanks are full. One thing I've done over here at the top, where it connects there, let's get around and show you guys. So where the water comes into the tank, I've put gauze. So as the water flows out of the white pipe and into the tank, there's gauze in there to catch thatch and whatever else, so it doesn't get into the tank, and then I go and clean that out. Before I had something in the gutter, and it was just slowing down the water getting into the tank, and it was actually, the gutter was overflowing, so that was not working. Rainwater is the best by far. Hope you guys enjoyed the tour. Please share your photographs or videos from your garden. I really like to see what's growing well by you guys and what I can learn. Share the knowledge, share the photos. I'd love to see what you guys are up to. If you have any questions about my garden or what I'm up to or how I'm doing things, you're welcome to ask in the Facebook group. where I'm going to post this video, the comments there, so that other people may also get into the conversation or learn something from it, or add to it or whatever. Yeah, hope you guys are enjoying this time of year with all the rain. This really is a great time. I absolutely love this time of year, and it's a very good time to mulch in preparation for the hot, dry summer. Cheers.